students, how are you? Hope you are all doing well. Before we start today's lesson, make sure that you have your books, notebooks, and pens ready with you. It's English 808, Project Success 2, Unit 6, Lesson 7, Writing. Write for a specific audience. Let's start with our objectives. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to understand or comprehend instructional reading texts, write for a specific audience, and form an emergency plan with instructions to follow. Read the following quotes and think about them. What comes to your mind? 1. At certain crucial moments, an emergency or an opportunity, one must act first and think later. 2. Be prepared. The meaning of the motto is that a scout must prepare himself by previous thinking out and practicing how to act on any accident or emergency so that he is never taken by surprise. 3. To appropriately respond to an emergency requires a very clear mind to calmly analyze what the observations are and how to fix it. 4. Stress is basically a disconnection from the earth, a forgetting of the breath. Stress is an ignorant state. It believes that everything is an emergency. Nothing is that important. Just lie down. 5. True prayer is a way of life, not just for use in cases of emergency. 6. Laughter along with madness seem to be the only way out, the emergency exit for humans. After reading the quotes, I want you to answer this question. What should you do in an emergency? Emergencies happen when we least expect them, and they need fast thinking and action. There are different things which should be done in an emergency. Here are some suggested actions. Take a deep breath. Count to 10. Tell yourself you can handle the situation. Check for danger. Protect yourself and the injured person from fire, explosions, or other hazards. Try to look at the situation as a whole. What is the most serious problem and what do you need to do first? The most obvious problem is not always the most serious. Treat the most life-threatening problems like bleeding or shock first. If you think the person has a spinal injury, do not move him or her unless the danger is great. Check for broken bones and other injuries. If the person is unconscious or does not respond to your voice or touch, be ready to start CPR. Finally, you can call 999 or other emergency services such as the local fire department, traffic police, or hospital if you need help. It's time to test your knowledge. Match the emergency numbers in Bahrain in the box with their corresponding departments in the table. Here you have the numbers and here you have the departments. You have to match these numbers with the given departments in the table. Now, check your answers. Great job! Now there is one more question. That is, what is the universal emergency number for everyone in the United States? Do you have any idea? Yes, it's 911. What is a memo? A memo, also known as a memorandum or reminder, is used for internal communications regarding procedures or official business within an organization. Unlike an email, a memo is a message you send to a large group of employees, like your entire department or everyone at the company. You might need to write a memo to inform staff about upcoming events, internal changes, or the emergency procedures that should be followed. It's reading time. Read the memo below and find the answer for the following question. Who do you call in case of a fire? Let's read the memo together. Memo to all employees from Maria Smith, Head of HR. Following the safety protocol, we need to take a moment to remind everyone of the official procedures to follow in case of a fire. First, if it's possible to determine the source of the fire, what caused fire, and where the fire happened. This will help with the emergency procedures, but stay safe and stay away from danger. Then call 911 to report the fire. You need to give them your name, location, and the details you know about the fire. You need to leave the building immediately if the fire is already large. If you are in the second or third floor, do not use the elevator. Everyone should use the stairs to get to the first floor and the exits. Don't forget to avoid smoke by crawling so you can breathe better. Before opening any door, make sure to check if it's hot. If the door is hot, do not open it. It means that a fire is building behind it. Check if there is another way to leave the building. Plan an escape route from your office or floor to the nearest exit, or from another plan in case your first route is blocked. Your plan should take less than 5 minutes. We want all employees to be safe and well. Now, the memo indicates that employees should call 911 to report the fire. Okay, my dear students, when addressing a specific audience, you need to think about 3 things. The first thing is who your audience is, what they need, and the most important things for them to know. So now I want you to read the memo again and underline the words and phrases that indicate a specific audience. And here you can check your answers. Look at the instructional guidelines used to plan the previous memo and complete it. You need to specify the audience, resources, the phone number, and the estimated time. You also have to include some details to complete the guideline. Now check your answers. Before you start writing your memo, you should consider the following writing tips. The first one is begin your memo by giving it a title, Memo. The second point is you should specify the audience you are addressing. State your name and position, and state the subject of your memo. Here is an example for you. 2. For example, administrative staff from Masoud Hamad. And then in the subject, you have to follow the subject you are asked to write about. The third point, you should specify the purpose of the memo. And here is an example. I would like to remind you of the official procedures to follow in case there was any, and then you complete. The last point, you should state the different procedures to follow, each in a separate paragraph. For example, first, make sure, be prepared to, Remember to avoid. This is useful information to have. Do not use any. And the entire procedure should take less than, and then you complete. Before you start writing, you're going to write an emergency plan for your workplace, school, or home. You can use the instructional guideline on slide 12 as a model to plan your writing. You need to specify the case, the audience, the resources, the estimated time, and you have to include some details. It's writing time. Read the writing help again. Use the ideas from your instructional guideline to write a memo for your school about the procedure that should be followed in the event of an emergency. Start writing. Here is a suggested answer. Let's read it together. The title is Memo to all students from school principal. Subject: emergency plan. In case of emergency, you need to follow the following procedures. First, make sure that you are not hurt and stay away from the elevators. You need to use the stairs if you are on the second floor to reach the first floor and get to the assembly area. Second, report your name and class code to the teachers with you at the assembly area and wait for the firemen to come. Most importantly, don't try to search for your friends. Head for the assembly area and do your best to stay quiet. For your safety and for the safety of the school staff, follow your teacher's instructions. Your safety is always our major concern. The end of the lesson. Thank you for your attention.